YouTube, what is up? My name is Chicken Fried Rice, and today we are going to be playing some Ruse. This is going to be a 4 versus 4 on the map strategist, and as you can see, I'm right here. We're going to be playing with Is Your Bye Bye, Big Tits, and Private Patch. So right away off the bat, I am going to be going middle, and so is Big Tits. Now we don't really have an air team except for Is Your Bye Bye, who's going to be going American Air on the Edge versus Russia, which seems to be a very interesting tactic, but he does it well, and he's actually going to take on 3 different air forces all at once, which is quite an achievement in itself. Right there you can see this guy, for some reason, setting up a secondary HQ all the way in his allies' base. As your bye-bye went for a truck sniper right here, and he got it. As you can tell, his P-47 is heading back to base, and he is already taken off with some B-25 Mitchells, which are some American light bombers, which you get straight from the start. In the meantime, me and Ted are both going straight towards the middle. I had some unfortunate mishap with my building trucks, so I'm a little bit behind schedule. That's nothing to slow us down. Mr. Bye-Bye on his own is going to take on 3 players. He's taking on the Russian, the British, and the French, I guess. Yeah, I'm guessing it's France. So he's putting up an incredible fight, and you guys are going to see he does quite a nice job of taking care of stuff. Now right here he makes anti-aircraft, which the reason why you're making AA is not as much as to imply your defense, but is to give him an advantage if he's fighting enemy planes in his area, and as well to take out decoy aircrafts, because if you're having a fight between fighters over anti-aircraft, you or your enemy has the advantage, depending on whose AA it is we're talking about. So right here you see me setting up my secondary HQ with an armor base, and I am depoting up immediately, sending some panhards to the middle, make sure we have that secured. On the meantime, Big Tits is helping out Private Patch, who is having the crunch applied on him. The Private Patch is doing some serious micro. He's using a combination of M16s and anti-tank guns. He's just everywhere. The enemy has nowhere really to go. But all of a sudden this guy pulls out a giant armada of Cromwell A-27 tanks. So Private Patch doesn't have much to stop that, except he has his light infantry, which he manages to push back a few tanks just with that alone. In the meantime, he's diverting some 57mm anti-tank guns into defensive positions in the woods. Now, the smart thing about this is the enemy did not put recon with those tanks. So that is going to be playing to his advantage, and you're going to see that right here. Now, at the moment, the guy is reconsidering what's happening, and in the meantime, I identified a truck snipe for Is Your Bye Bye to completely annihilate the enemy with. Hopefully that will go well, and well, not really. Unfortunately for us, Is Your Bye Bye is one guy trying to hold off 2 enemy players, including his flank, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's taking on 3 people by himself, and I'm just taking off like some of the pressure by giving him a huge income, but that's really the only way I can support him right now. He's also managed to set up a base on the side, and he's going to go and take some chaffies to disrupt the enemy supply lines and their bases. Why chaffies, you may ask? Because chaffies are some fast tanks. They do some serious damage, and right here you see he sends in 2 chaffies just to mow down all that anti-aircraft. They're really good for that. They're good for fast maneuverment, and they're good for good quick and hit and run strikes, hitting the enemy's weak points and undefended against light armor areas. Here you see me using some South-40s. I'm going to try and deter the enemy here. He's got 3 French B1 heavy tanks coming in. South-40s, unfortunately, until you get into AP gun range, aren't that good against enemy armor. Luckily for me, I spotted those a while ago, and I started making some Laffies, so they get an AP range. Now, I do outnumber the B1s, but they are heavy tanks, and I am in medium, so it's not the best position. Then I got my Laffies in range, which is a big problem with this guy, so I'll send in my South-40s to finish up the enemy tanks, while I have a bunch of Laffies just picking them off from a distance. So here I'm moving in. I'm going to take out his artillery and move straight, and this is really the end of the game. This guy, Is Your Bye-Bye, has taken over this flank completely with an army of Chaffies just going everywhere. These tanks are so fast that you can't stop them. Like, this 1v1 is like trying to stop a Chaffee. He cannot. It is such a fast tank. And on the other side, you got Big Tits with a giant stack of South 40s here. And you have Private Patch pushing down the side here and here. And that is really the end of it, guys, because you know what? There's not much left these guys can do to stop them. And right here, this guy going for a last-ditch effort, getting 2 ARL 44s, 3 now. And Chaffies are just relentless. I don't think he's killed... Oh, he just killed 1 Chaffee right there at that moment. And you know what? Looks like the Chaffies are going to win this battle versus ARL 44s. That's a great thing. And you might not want to be taking Chaffies onto a head-on assault against ARL 44s, but when it's time for blitz and quick movement, they are some great tanks. They're great for disrupting, and they're just great for doing everything you want them to do. And so right here, I got my giant stack of, well, South 40s, 2 anti-aircraft guns, and a few Laffies. Walk into this guy's base. He's got an ARL. I'm not too worried about that because, well, let's face it, it's an ARL. And I got some Laffies and a South 40. And Laffies are pretty much one of the best, actually probably the best start out TD, because they go at the same speed as the South 40s pretty much. They're unarmored, so they're vulnerable to artillery and fighters, but they pack a hell of a punch, and the range that they possess is ridiculous. They can cover quite a distance. They really have that punching power. So that's the end of this guy, and we spend the last few minutes of this game just picking off the enemy as well. Yeah, picking him off. And that's pretty much the end of it, guys. I just built an instantaneous air force with all the money I had because, well, it's pretty effective against all these guys. And Is Your Bye-Bye with his army of Chaffies is just enjoying the sight. As usual, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below. Please subscribe. And check out my Twitter if you guys want to know when I'm in game and if you guys can play with me. And I will see you guys all next time.